how to get your Google ads to the top of the search results. There are some big myths and big mistakes that can cost you a lot of money if you don't understand this correctly. One of the big myths is that if I bid more, I will go to the top of Google because I'm willing to pay more. It is not like a normal auction. Google set up the auction system so that it was fair for everybody, and I'll explain what that is shortly. The other thing that people think they need to do to get to the top of Google is to increase their budget per day, and that will automatically start to move them up because they're spending more with Google. The other thing that also gets is that they try and add a lot more ads and a lot more campaigns, thinking that, well, one of them will get to the top. If I've got more ads out there, there's more chances of me coming up. All of those three things will cost you lots of money and will not achieve what you're looking for. My name is James Roberts from Kingfisher Digital. I help service business owners get more leads, more phone calls, more repeat business. Now, the first one is, let's bid more so we'll go to the top of Google. Well, that isn't going to work because the people at the top of Google, on the ads at the top of the page, pay the least amount per click, and the people at the bottom of the page pay the most amount per click. So it's not all about bids, because it's cheaper to be at the top. Google basically look at not just the bid, but the experience the customer gets when they click the ad. And they also look at which ads are getting clicked the most as well. So let me explain. If you have emergency, I'm going to use plumbers, emergency plumbers in this particular city, and you see there's 3 ads there, and let's say one of them says 24/7, and you think, well, I'll click that because it says 24/7 and the other 2 ads don't. So they click that and it comes through to the home page of the website, and it's definitely a plumber's website, but they can't find that there's just a normal number. Doesn't seem to be any emergency number, and it really doesn't say anything on the home page. There's a nice picture of a load of plumbers, and there's nothing really there about emergency and how long it's going to take, and what the cost is going to be, etc. And these are things that are going through people's minds when they're doing this. And remember, they're doing it on a mobile device as well. So that's and so they're like, oh, I'm not sure, and they may even ring the normal number, but it just seems to ring out. So they're like, oh, so they come back to the search and then they click one of the other ones, and the other one goes through to an actual page, which is an emergency plumbers page for that particular city, and it tells you it's an emergency number. It tells you that there's a plumber on call ready to take your call. It tells you that on average it will take 35 minutes to get to your premises, and it gives you all the information you need to give you the confidence to make the inquiry. And so you click and call and you book the plumber. Now, Google looks at that in 2 ways. It looks at the first experience you had and goes, that's not a good experience. You didn't get what you were looking for. So the next time we have that query, we will send people to your page, Mr. Plumber A, but they obviously didn't get the right, there was something went wrong, and they didn't make an inquiry, so we're going to charge you more for that. We'll charge you 25-30% more per click because they didn't get. The other plumber, on the other hand, plumber B, actually they clicked through, they clicked and made a call. Google could see that. They can see that on the stats, on the data. So they're like, that was a good experience. And so they will they will lower that particular cost, but by probably the amount they're charging plumber A, that they'll make plumber A pay for plumber B's mistake, because what they have is a thing called a quality score, and the quality score is between 1 and 10. And when when you click from an ad to a page, Google reads all that page and sees how many times is this all about emergency plumbing, this page, or is this just a general page? If it's just a general page, you'll get like a score of 2 or 3. If it's an emergency plumber's page and it seems to be really well written for emergency plumbing services, then you'll probably get a 6. And as you prove to Google that people are coming through and actually taking action, then they'll move you up to a 7 and an 8, and you get better and better prices. So that's how you get to the top of Google. You get there by making the experience better. And I see it so many times that companies don't think about, you are a customer, you need this service, why would you send them? You're basically wasting 85% of your budget if you're sending them to the homepage, because people will not wait around to go and find what they're looking for. If they don't instantly land on the right page, they're gone, and that's going to cost you more money. The other thing is we'll spend more per day, so Google will give us preferential because we're paying more for our advertising, so we should be at the top. Again, Google set this up so that big companies couldn't outbid smaller competitors by just spending lots and lots of money. And they wanted it to be a balance of the cost per bid and the quality of the experience they get. Now, let's say it was a big company that was a plumbing company, and we had plumber C, that they went through to an emergency page and they rang and it rang and nobody answered that call. Google would see that as a bad experience as well, and they came back out and they went to the other plumber. So if a big company's not picking up the phone call, that can be detrimental, because Google know how long it takes for them to answer that call. So it's all about the experience, the quality of the experience, and they wanted local companies to have local business, but only if they provided the right experience for the customer, good customer experiences. And that's how you get to the top of Google. You have a proper page set up for that emergency plumbing. You have it clear. You have to answer all the questions that are likely to be in a person's mind, like how much is it going to cost, how long is it going to take to get out here, etc., etc. And this is the emergency phone number. If I press this, they're going to get to me within an average of 35 minutes. And then they might also have the Google reviews. They're prominent that they have got 124 5-star reviews. So that helps people to make the decision. The other thing is, we'll just do loads and loads of ads to get up to the top, and one of them's going to get up there. Well, the problem is then Google gets confused. There's so many ads about so many different things. It doesn't know when to show them. The experience isn't very good when they get there. So it just costs you more money. It doesn't get you anywhere. So the way to get to the top of Google is to do a proper job and to set the pages up, set the ads up, think about what people will be searching for and what questions they'll need to ask to make an inquiry. If you'd like to know more on how to set up a landing page, there will be a video coming somewhere on here now, which you will be able to learn how the sort of 9 core elements of a landing page
as opposed to a web page. They're on the same thing. They still look like they're on your website. The only one big difference is they don't have a menu at the top and they don't have a footer at the bottom. It's just a page on, let's say, emergency plumbing, and it has to have key things on there so that you get the inquiry and the person gets a good experience. But we will run through that on the video that's coming up next. My name is James from Kingfisher Digital. Hopefully that's made you realise that spending more money doesn't get you to the top of Google.